Hey everyone, today's video is going to be showing how I cut my own hair. It's a 180-degree cut, and I'm going to show you how I get started. As you can see, my hair has no shape at all. The layers are so grown out. They're like my ends are not that healthy. It just looks lifeless and shapeless. So I'm going to show you how I cut my hair today. 180-degree haircut. You're going to place the comb on the top of your head, and where it lifts off your head, as you can see, is where you're going to start to part your hair back. Now what I mean by that is you're going to brush everything back from that point, and then you're going to go from that point to the top of your ear and part, and that's going to be the side of your hair. So you're going to take all that in front of your ear and comb that forward, and then you're going to take everything else and comb that back. And you're just going to section that off and clip it, and that's going to be one side. You're going to do that to the other side as well. Section it to the top of the ear. I'm just parting my hair like I usually do. Like I said, this is how I cut my hair. So you're going to section this off and clip it. Then you're going to take a section from the crown of your head, the middle of your head, and the crown of your head. Make sure it is the middle. And you are going to take that and trim it to the length that you want your shortest layer to be. I don't recommend going that short. The haircut can go a little crazy if you do that. So I would only recommend like trimming 1 to 2 inches off. I'm trimming off about 1 inch here, and I'm point cutting because that's going to add some texture. It's not going to make it as blunt of a straight line cut. Then you're going to take hair from right under that and comb that to the same place that you just combed that last hair, and you are going to see the hair that you just cut because it's going to be shorter than that, and you're going to cut that to that length. It's going to be like a guide. Every time that you take more hair up, you're going to make sure that you include the hair that you just cut because you need to be able to see what length you're going to cut. I'll show you in more detail in a second because right now it's kind of confusing. I was just like going so fast and going crazy. But you're going to keep bringing hair up to that same point on your head. As you can see, the hair is shorter. You're going to cut all that hair to that short length. Point cutting. You don't have to point cut. I just think it makes the haircut look more blended and together. We're going to take more hair from under that, and we're going to comb it all to that middle point. Always make sure that you comb to that middle point. It's called over directing. Taking it from where it normally lives and grows and putting it someplace else. As you can see, the hair that's longer and the hair that's shorter, you always cut to the shorter hair. That's called your guide, and we're just going to make it all even all the way across. Point cutting. It doesn't have to look so blunt and even because it is point cutting, so it's going to look a little bit uneven, as you can see. I'm just doing some more point cutting. And you're just going to keep doing that, pulling all that hair to the top of your crown. All of it. It doesn't matter if it's from your ear or your forehead. You pull it to this same point on your head, your crown. You cannot leave it where it is. It will mess everything up. So as you can see, I'm pulling it all to where I first started. And you can see the hair that needs to be cut because there's hair shorter than that underneath it. Just make sure you can always see your guide, because if you've lost your guide, you'll be lost in your haircut. I'm just continuing to pull hair to meet that. Now sometimes your hair is not going to meet the guide. If it doesn't reach, don't cut it. As you can see, it didn't reach. It's all even. There was nothing that needed to be cut. If there's nothing longer than your guide, don't cut it. You know if it's correct is when you pull it out and check it. It goes from short to long, all in a nice little angle, nothing sticking out or too long. As you can see, it's going from short to long, short layers to long layers, all in a pretty even angle. So you know you did it correct if it looks like this. And you're just going to keep doing this on the whole back. pulling it to that middle section and cutting whatever is longer than your guide. And whenever you start cutting from the sides, you're going to want to leave the sides just a little bit longer. As you can see, I left that part a little bit longer. If you don't over direct the sides a lot and leave them a little longer, you might get a window, or it just might look crazy. A window is where there's like a big gap in your hair that's shorter. You don't want that. So I'm over directing. I'm only cutting a little bit, leaving the sides slightly longer. As you can see. As you can see what needs to be cut, you can see that short length. I'm just going to cut it all to that short length. And as you can see, that back bottom piece does not reach the top. Do not cut that. And you can check it again, see if you did it right. If it all lines up in a nice little angle going short to long, then you did it right. As you can see, mine does. We're going to keep going. See where that hair is? You want it in the middle. So you're going to pull that all the way to the middle and cut what's longer than your guide. Your guide will be very obvious, as you can see. So we're just going to need to trim off that little section. And as you can see, the middle of that piece looks the shortest. You're going to want that because your head is curved. It's not straight. So you will have a piece in the middle that looks shortest, and it will look like it gets longer on both sides. You want that. Don't freak out and cut it a straight line every time. As you can see, the bottom piece doesn't reach. We don't need to cut anything. We are all the way pulling from the bottom and it didn't reach. I'm just going to go to the other side, over directing all the way to the middle. We only need to cut off this little section. And it's generally even. You don't have to go so crazy. As you can see, the middle is a little shorter. Now this piece does not reach. Do not cut it. And just because it doesn't reach does not mean it's uneven. As you can see, the haircut is even on both sides. The way you can check it is you can pull your hair in the back like you're about to do a half up, half down style. Comb it all to that middle point of the crown that we've been cutting, and it will be generally even. You will have that little dip in the middle, as you can see, and it gets longer to the sides. That is what you want, and you have that texture from point cutting, so it's not a straight blunt line. It does look a little jagged. Now I'm going to start on this side. What I'm going to do is take some from the side and then take that same piece from the middle of the crown that we cut originally, and I'm going to use that as a guide for this side because that's going to tell us what length that side needs to be cut. So I'm pulling it to the middle. Always pull it to that top of the crown where you started. And you can see what needs to be cut. And then with the ear, you really want to over direct. Don't cut off too much. We only need to cut off that little bitty tag, and that will not leave us a window, just cutting off that little tag. Now I'm starting on the other side. As you can see, that's our piece that's even from the top of the crown, and we're going to add some from the top of our head with that cut section so we can know what needs to be cut. We're going to pull it to the center of our crown, and when you get to the top of your head, you're going to be over directing back. As you can see what needs to be cut, that short piece is very obvious. You're going to cut anything longer than that. And that's it. You don't need to go super crazy and make sure it's precisely even. Point cutting is great. Over directing all the way to the middle, as you can see. And we only need to cut off that little bitty part. As you can see, we're over directing it back to that top of the crown. Cutting off what needs to be cut. Again, this is just like a little trim to give my hair some shape, some body. Now the bangs, you're going to set the comb on the top of your head, and where the comb is like sitting, resting, the highest point of your head, you're going to part that into a triangle. The ends of the triangle is going to be at the ends of each of your eyebrows. As you can see, I'm making that come to the end of both of my eyebrows, all the way from that point that we just found using the comb. So you're going to part that into a triangle. You will be left with something that looks like this. I'm just going to pull it to the side that I want my bangs to be cut. And you don't want to use a lot of tension and pull tight on it because your bangs will bounce up. So just hold it lightly. I'm going to run my scissors across it, starting where I want my bangs to start, and just cut it down a slant. Now as you can see, some of it's cut and some of it still looks left long. So you're just going to start where you left off cutting, as you can see where my short piece is, and you're just going to keep going until you're satisfied. Don't use too much tension or your bangs will be way shorter than you want them to be. As you can see, they are coming together. I'm just going to continue because I don't want this piece way longer. And then I'm going to part that over to the other side where it goes and just bring some hair to cut with that to make it not just a short piece that's on that side, make it kind of blended. So I'm just going down on that side. Then I'm taking just some hair from the front, and I'm just going to go down like this so that I can have some pieces kind of framing my face. And that hair is just basically what's in front of the ear. You don't have to go too crazy and cut it all. I just do that little technique so I can just have some framing my face. I'm going to take some from both sides, bring it to the middle. If they meet pretty good, then it's even. You want to make sure they meet in the middle and that they're even. Then I go through with a razor and just texturize the ends, run it through so that it can like sort of thin out my hair a little bit, give it some more texture. I run it through the ends, and then I also run it through like the middle of my hair. Not too much tension, you will chop it all off. Just a little bit, you graze it, and it takes off some of that extra bulk. You can use a razor that you shave your legs with, but I'm using a razor, and as you can see, it's all even. You want that to be slightly longer on the sides, but it is even. You can do that by just taking the whole top of your hair. And this is the finished look. As you can see, my hair has a lot more shape. It looks healthier. I like how it looks a little bit bigger on the top and smaller at the bottom. The layers are freshened up. And if you want to, you could tease the top a little bit like I'm doing here, just to give it a little more volume. But my bangs are freshly cut, my layers are redone, and my hair has some shape. And as you can see, my length started off a little bit above my boobs, and my length ended a little bit above my boobs as well. So I didn't cut off that much, but I easily just shaped up my hair, and it looks way better than when we started. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.